Hi there, Steve here again. Remember, if you enjoy these videos, please subscribe to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about a few things. First of all, I had a Skype chat with Hoge of Effortless English, whom many of you know. And I think he's a great, enthusiastic teacher with some wonderful teaching resources and a great attitude towards language learning, helping people learn English. We had our Skype interview, but the quality of the sound, the connection was so poor, I'm not going to put it up. I'll tell you what we talked about. We talked about the problem of people who plateau in a language and feel they can't get to the next level. So I'm going to kind of talk a little bit today about the kinds of things that we discussed in our video. However, after our video, AJ and I then continued our discussion in a podcast, which you can find under Effortless English Podcast. And the sound quality was much better. And it made me realize that, I would like to do podcasts because I would like to talk to people. I would like to talk to people about language learning, not just language learners, not just teachers like AJ, but people in different walks of life with different perspectives. Why are they interested in languages? How do they go about learning languages? Things that relate to my interest in languages, and we can do them in English and French and Chinese, any language that I'm comfortable conducting the discussion in. So if you are interested or know of anyone who is interested, please let me know. But these will be podcasts. They will not be video because the quality of the screen and the audio is simply not good enough. And so that's one thing that I will be starting, and I will provide more information on that later. Another small housekeeping item before I get into the subject of plateauing. Our mini stories project is proceeding. We have lots of volunteers helping us translate these mini stories into different languages. We need more. We need more in a variety of languages. I'd like to see there. You can follow it at the forum at link. But in particular, we don't have people for volunteers for, or enough volunteers or any volunteers for Chinese, Japanese, and Korean. So today, after this video, I'm going to do some videos in those languages to try to encourage speakers of those languages to participate in our project, which I'm very excited about. Now, the plateau. AJ raised this as something that comes up all the time. People feel that once they have achieved a certain level in, say, English, because he basically just teaches English, they have trouble getting to the next level. And I've discussed this before, breakthrough, getting to the next level. And we talked about the things that were important. AJ pointed out that there is also a psychological dimension to this, and I agree. And basically what I feel is this. There are different kinds of people who are at a plateau. You can have someone who is at a very high plateau. You can have someone who's at a low plateau. You can have people who feel that their, say, level of English or whatever language is simply good enough. So they're not bothered by the fact that their language has reached a level and it's not going to get much better. They pick up the odd word, but by and large, they will continue making the same grammatical mistakes. They will continue with the same pronunciation, and it doesn't bother them. And they're happy and they go about their lives. Very often, immigrants fall into this category. However, there are other people who are unhappy about their level. They would like to speak better. They would like to have, better pronunciation, or they often find themselves in situations where they don't understand or they're unable to express themselves and so forth. So what can these people do? Well, I think there are a number of things. First of all, I think a lot of people are unduly hard on themselves. It is unrealistic to expect that you are going to speak like a native, speak with native pronunciation, never make grammatical mistakes, never find yourself in a situation where you don't understand. That, I think, is going to be there. So I always feel that wherever I am in language, I'm happy that I'm able to do whatever I'm able to do. I never get unhappy with what I'm able to do in a language, even those that I'm not very good at, like Romanian or something. I'm happy. I enjoy what I've been able to do in the language. So I try to be positive. However, if I want to improve, then I go back to the 3 keys as always: the attitude of the learner, the time you spend, and the ability to notice, your awareness of what's happening in the language. So to me, it's very simple. If you want to improve in the language, you have to begin by wanting to improve. You have to deliberately want to improve, attitude-wise. You actually have to want to leave the comfort of your own cultural environment. As an individual, you can't take your whole cultural group with you. You actually have to leave that warm, fuzzy feeling of your, might be English-speaking environment, or it might be Chinese-speaking environment, or French-speaking environment, and you have to throw yourself into this other environment. You have to want to do that. You want to enjoy that. So that's the psychological element. You have to put in the time. If you are a Chinese immigrant living in Vancouver and every evening you watch Chinese television, watch Chinese videos, that's not going to do it. You have to put in the time. You have to read novels. You have to push yourself. Watch, English television. So those kind of things. And you have to improve your ability to notice where your own pronunciation is, could be better, could be clearer, okay? You don't have to be like a native, but if there are parts of your pronunciation that are not unclear, you have to be aware of it. So you have to listen to yourself and compare yourself to a native insofar as pronunciation is concerned, focusing on intonation as much as anything else. I often refer to my father, who said, Bank of Nova Scotia, a province in Canada, was always Nova Scotia, and work was work. He came from Czechoslovakia. It never bothered him, but if he had wanted to improve, he would have had to notice that actually it's not pronounced Scotia, it's pronounced Scotia. You have to notice these things. And insofar as grammar is concerned, I find it useful from time to time to review the grammar, whether it be, I think of Romanian, I downloaded the grammar of Romania. I have a Greek grammar that I downloaded. I go through it. I don't try to memorize, but all of these things help me become aware of the language better when I listen and read. And of course, the biggest thing is, in order to improve, get past the plateau, you just have to put in the time. Lots of deliberate time. Reading things that are a little bit challenging on a wide variety of subjects. Listening, watching movies, and then speaking, of course. And you have to speak without being hung up, but you have to speak and try to put into practice, try to, activate the vocabulary that you have acquired. So if you have this deliberate policy of wanting to improve, of pursuing that, effort at improvement, you will improve. However, if you're happy with where you are, if you can communicate, you work, you read, you do things, and you have an accent, and you make some mistakes, you're fine. I know so many people that I communicate with in English, and I've often said this, the German person who says, I am living in Vancouver since many years, which of course is not correct. Or the Swedish person says, it is many people in China instead of there are. And all of these things that we bring from our own language, and I'm sure that I do the same in some of the languages that I speak, but I'm happy. So, it's all a matter of what you want to do. If you feel you're on a plateau and you want to do better, you're going to have to put that effort into it, and you're going to have to be prepared to leave the comfort of your native language cultural environment. And you're going to focus on as much exposure to the language as possible, both in the form of input and output, with the occasional effort at looking at some grammar aspects and seeing if that helps you notice things when you are either reading and listening or using the language. So there you have it with regard to the plateau. Any ideas you have about people I could speak to for my new podcast series? We're going to talk about, it's a small world we live in, the global village, language, how do people use language, why are they interested in language, different perspectives on the advantages of learning languages, whatever it might be. That's what I want to talk to people about. Please let me know. And that's it. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.